brilliant. So your knowledge of your product is really, really important. That is exactly the same. And this is what I try to teach people when they come into property. You know, I'm teaching a professional footballer, a doctor, investment bankers, people who do analysis for different companies. I mean, a whole variety of walks of life, professional people who want to come in to property, and a lot of them think they've got to just drop what they know and start afresh. There's so many skills that they've learned that they can take in. Okay, so even you know, just the way that you will, you know, plan your day out, the planning stage of doing a refurbishment is so important, and that is identifying it. But singly the most important is to get close to those people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you do get the right person, then it can be really, really a good experience. When you don't get the right person because they talk with pretend knowledge, you know, there's a lot out there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
We've known some through the past where people talk, and no matter what arena, whether it's property or anything else, we've known people who will spin a yarn or two, and you know. And you know, let's say I used to play football, okay, in a team which this team was in league, wasn't it? We got promoted.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Where did we finish? Third or fourth, something like that.
Yeah.
Forget now. But Clark was the captain. And I, at 50 years old, I think I was 48 when, well, I think I was about 47 when we started playing. But at 50, I stopped playing. But from 3 goalkeepers, I was the oldest by a country mile. I was 3 times older than some of them.
The shortest.
The shortest and the fattest.
Yeah.
But who was number 1 goalkeeper?
Yeah, you were the best.
I was crazy, wasn't I? But,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Showboating a little.
Yeah, showboat. Listen, if I had to save one for the camera, I'd do it.
You would, yeah. It had to look good.
It had to look good,
Yeah.
but I wasn't bad. I was good.
No, very good.
I was good. But sadly, I stopped because when I was 50, a good friend, and he was a great player, wasn't he, Russell?
Yeah.
He actually basically dropped down dead on the pitch, and he was about 53, I think. He was 2 old boys, him and me.
He was a very fit guy.
He was fitter than the young guys.
Yeah.
Really, really sad. But that's why I stopped. But look, you know, why... Clark, to answer, you know, property investment, what I do, why do I do it? Because your mum's saying that now it's almost an obsession for me, okay? And I remember talking with Rob Moore years ago, because I trained with Rob right at the beginning. And I was in the car, we used to play golf together. And I used to say to him, you know, what is the secret? Because I know persistence, but he said, Trevor, obsession. I said, oh, but when do you know it's enough? And I have to say, at this time, I think it is obsession, because I love what I do. Even when we were out in Barbados with the family just over 2 weeks ago, Mum and Joy wanted to go and lie on the beach. I couldn't do it. I hired a car and I drove around looking at buildings and everything else I could find in the area to have a look at. And I enjoyed that. I have to be doing and seeing something. But why am I doing it? I'm building it for legacy. I am. So, you know, when we depart from this world, there's something for you and your brothers and Joy. And, you know, I've got 1 granddaughter who lives about 50 miles from me here. There's another grandchild on the way, and sadly we did lose. One of my boys lost their little boy, Bobby, and but you know, we've got a legacy to leave behind. And let me just put it on record, Clark. There's so many people I meet, and there was one particular lady. There are 3 children, and their parents left 5 properties. And I said, "That's fantastic. Have you increased that number?" And they said, "No, we satisfied the inheritance tax, and then we sold them. We took the money and just used it." And I find that breaks my heart, because if you had 10, then surely you could have refinanced to settle the inheritance and then doubled it and leave it for the next generation.
Yep.
So here I'm going on record now, Clark, whatever I leave behind, I want you to go and double it for your children.
Sure.
Do you see what I mean?
Of course.
You've got to deal with the tax and things like that. I get that. But even if you had to sell some to do it, you must accelerate. Of
course.
You know, and that's something which is really, really important. So listen, guys, we're going to tell you a true story about growing up. It tells you a little bit about the character of myself, and also a little bit, the only time this young man, who Marie and I are very, very proud of, as well as our other children, but the only time that there is a huge misdemeanor. So I used to run a youth club Okay, and when I left Sheffield, I did community development work. I set up a youth centre. We reduced youth crime by 85%. That was reported by the police. It was amazing, really, really good. But I used to say to the lads, the young people, I used to say, look, you're welcome anytime in a youth centre, but if you break the law, so if you do anything which is illegal, I will be calling the police. Simple as that. There's the line, don't cross it, otherwise I call the police. And I worked very closely with the police, and the police used to come up and see us quite often and everything, knew them really, really well, and did a lot of community projects. Now, one day, there was a lad, came to me, he said, you call the police on us, but you don't call the police on your own son. Do you know what he said to me? So he said, Clark took your car and drove it on the road. I think he was 17, certainly didn't have a license at the time.
No, I think it was just my provisional I had.
Provisional, okay. And he took my car. What was it? Was it a Renault 25?
No, it was the Renault Laguna.
Oh, Renault Laguna.
The blue one.
Oh, right, okay. So he took my car and drove it down the road. So I said, okay, leave it with me. And I went in so his mother was his teacher at school. And I walked in, I said, can I have a chat with Clark? And she said, yes. So I walked up to him. Now, the thing is, with all my boys, I don't mind what they do, but I teach them to love the truth. So they all know, because I brought them up in quite a strict way, but you are accountable for your actions. So don't even lie about if you've done something wrong. You just have to be straight and tell us the truth. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All the way through. Mm-hmm. So I walked up and I said, Clark, and he said, oh, yes, Dad. And I said, someone's told me that you took my car and drove it on the road. Is that correct? And he looked at me, he said, yes, I did. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. How did you feel when I asked you, by the way?
Yeah, I was cool. I had butterflies and thought I felt sick, everything at the same time.
So what happened? You took my keys, you were with another lad.
Yeah, and we just went for a drive, just over the crossroads.
Yeah, it wasn't even half a mile in total, was it?
No.
But you went out on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, fine. And I walked out the school. I took my phone. I phoned police. And I said, I'd like to report a taking without consent, which is theft. And they said, who is it? I said, it's my son. I know where he is. He's here. And they sent a police car down with 2 police. Mm-hmm. Within half an hour. They came into the school.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even party with what they said. They asked you to go outside. What did they say?
They just had a report of that, and they just warned me. They just gave me a warning and just said, we'll let you go. We'll let it off. But don't be doing it again. It's illegal. Obviously, not just for yourself, dangerous, but for other people on the road as well.
Yeah. Did they talk about consequences?
No, they didn't actually. They didn't tell me what the consequences were, but I'm pretty sure I could imagine. Yeah.
Well, the thing for me, consequences, regardless of fines or losing a license, the consequence if you'd hit somebody or killed somebody, you'd pay for the rest of your life, no matter what the consequence. You have to live with that, and that's horrendous. Yeah. So that was that. He was let off. You did say it was one of the best things that ever happened to you.
Yeah, of course.
Because you learnt a valuable lesson.
I really did, yeah.
Yeah, so you're a very law-abiding citizen, aren't you?
I am.
He is. And, that's a powerful thing. I have to say I was criticised by a lot of friends. How could you do that to your own son? I said, well, because he took the choice to do that for himself. And if you do that, then, for you watching and for us and for my family, you and I are both accountable for our actions, okay? So when we make choices, we made informed choices, we're accountable for them, all right? So think carefully when you make an action, especially if you're going into property. You should be getting all of the informed information. If you're going to go training with somebody, then make sure that trainer knows what they're talking, has real experience, that you see them. I've got a site visit coming up again at my building site. What I'm actually doing with my mentorship group, we're actually going to see a property in Wembley. I'm going to do the whole planning stage all the way through with the whole group that are coming on to the January intake in the mentoring. If you're interested in some training where I'm doing options, buy, refurb, refinance and introduction to development, it's the 16th, 17th of January. email me and I'll send you details and we can have a chat. So listen, I want to wish you all the best at this Christmas time. Have a most wonderful Christmas and enjoy your family and friends. And just remember that I think one of the most precious things that you can give is encouragement and love to people. I really do. Clark, any messages for people? What about people? Say something in German. Wish you Merry Christmas.
Ja, frohe Weihnachten wünsche ich euch und ein gutes neues Jahr.
I hope he didn't say anything bad against me there. But Clark, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Listen, have a wonderful week. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.